Oh, much better. Much better.
Things have been tough, Rhodes, for me. I'm out here in the streets taking care of business.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I've considered going off duty and towing.
You should join my tow union. I think you'd be great to come work with me.
I would not want to work alongside Mr. Stokes. I've seen what he does wrong.
No, you just work alongside me.
That seems kind of nice.
Red has goons.
Stokes, I'm
goons.
sorry. I'm sorry for what I said about you. I don't think you're a one-armed Cyclops.
Oh,
Don't back down. Have some gumption. Own what
Yeah.
you said.
What's a
You
gumption?
always have to double down.
Isn't that like
Rhodes has
Louisiana
been
suit?
wrong twice today because I am a one-armed Cyclops, and he's gonna lose his case.
Oh!
Okay.
Ow, yeah!
All right. Well, you know, I'm just saying. If it does happen, it be what it be. There's a reason there have been no additional pieces of evidence added, no witnesses from my end. All of this was to ensure that parking gets clarified.
A whole bunch of stuff. It's my fault. I forgot about the case. Mainly because of Stumbles over there. I mean, Moose.
Oh,
And we documented lots of stuff on our end. I'm sorry you can't do your job, Rhodes.
the fact that you accepted a chat
Damn.
GPT response from one of those people who gave a statement.
How am I responsible for how they write their wordings?
You're not. But listen, if we're about to be swinging at each other right now, how is it that we went through this entire case and not once did you reference any of them?
Why do I have to? It's already entered into evidence.
Yeah, but you didn't bring it up.
Doesn't matter. It's entered into
You know what's evidence?
You don't understand how
You-
court works? We only need to talk about the stuff that we're debating.
Which is
We're
literally
really
everything.
deal with that. Well, it's exactly what we bring up. That's why you got objected on scope.
Oh my gosh, you don't realize. You don't realize. Moose, are you okay, bud?
I hope she makes a decision soon because I got people to shoot.
Oh.
In self-defense?
Yeah, in self-defense.
Of course, always. I mean, Pride, your record's pretty clean.
I don't have any felonies. I'm a lawyer with a gun license.
Same.
Nice.
That's quite the profile picture you have.
Yeah, it's me covered in blood after I shot someone in self-defense.
Wait, but look at my profile picture. I look good.
Mine's pretty good, too.
1303.
Oh, wait, yours is good, though.
Best one. No one can
That is a
convince me
good one.
otherwise.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Mine's me in my underwear at the courthouse.
No,
Oh.
yours is my favorite, honestly.
What?
Ziggy has a good
Oh
one.
my gosh.
I'm just smoking a cigarette covered in blood from head to toe from a man I just shot on the corner in self-defense.
Do you even know his name?
Connor
Fuck.
McGregor.
Oh,
Okay. That makes sense.
he was here earlier.
He was.
That adds up.
Yeah, I smoked that motherfucker. I'm waiting until I get a chance to shoot a cop in self-defense. That'll be good.
Ooh. That's
I'm gonna be the
that's
first
an
person
interesting
to
one.
shoot a cop. I'm gonna be the first person to shoot a cop in self-defense.
Good luck with that.
I don't even. I'm busy that day.
I would never, Rhodes. Come on, I would never shoot you.
I know.
Even when I was doing a bunch of crime, I never shot you.
I didn't participate in the war for a reason.
Should have came and fought for us. We could have
No.
used you. You know, we took out more than 40 of them before we took our first casualty.
Oh my gosh.
It was fucking crazy. It was like D-Day.
Jesus.
Old times.
How long
Old times.
before
Only
that?
one because
how
of
long was
those
that before you
tanks.
started eating a woman, or at least tried to?
We were eating people for a while on Sanguine. There was no McDonald's, so.
Jesus.
And what else are you supposed to do? We had to eat people. Eat people and drink seawater. Got us really
Ew.
going for the fight.
Was there no fish in the floats around the ocean.
Ew,
We
seawater.
didn't have any.
Yeah, that's gross.
We ate everybody in the fishing village, and we sold all the equipment for AKs. So I mean, we weren't able to fish.
The idea, just the thought of drinking seawater makes me want to fucking gag. Okay.
I'm sorry. The cannibalism wasn't the thing that made you want to gag?
No, that's fucked up. But like,
What the fuck?
but I don't know. It's just listen.
Suppose.
Think about this. You have a glass cup of water, right? And you look at it and you see shit floating around. No.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
no.
Now imagine taking fucking seawater.
Yeah, that is kind of gross.
No. Mm-mm.
Added protein.
No, fish shit.
Yeah, I don't. I'm good.
That's gross.
That's
Then people don't have that reservation with orange juice when the stuff floating in it.
That's pulp, though. That's good for you. That's vitamin C.
That is disgusting.
No, pulp is good.
wait. What was just mentioned? I didn't catch that.
I'm not a pulp guy. I'm gonna.
Me
be
neither.
honest.
don't-
No pulp.
I don't really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
fuck
drink
pulp.
it, but I don't like pulp.
Just
Listen,
eat an
if I
orange and
wanted
that
a
pulp.
fucking smoothie that had texture, I'd ask for one. Okay. But when I want orange juice, like
Yeah, but
they
see, the
even have
difference
like
is that
extra
you
pulp
have a
orange
choice.
juice where that shit gets like
Yeah,
congealed
no.
at the fucking top. Okay, and you have to like
We didn't
poke a
have
hole through the
orange
pulp.
juice on Sanguine. All we had was coca plants and goddamn people to eat. There was no McDonald's. We didn't even have a fucking gas pump until 2 days before the war.
Oh no.
Who built a gas pump in 2 days? The fuck?
We smuggled one in.
Did you
You know
drill
how
down
hard it is
too?
to smuggle a gas pump? No, we
Okay,
smuggled the
prison
fuel. We
pocket.
smuggled everything. You know how many people we had fucking bringing stuff to us by submarine and boat?
Submarine?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I only wish I was the one that killed Bass. I should have been the one to get that kill. You know, I had a goddamn Irish guy go in there and plant a bomb in his car the same day that he fucking died.
What was the Irish guy's name?
Is that deliberate? That
Patty.
sort of correlation?
Oh.
Or...
Patty what?
You remember Patty from The Lost?
Oh, that Patty.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I remember Patty.
Yeah, he put a he was gonna put a bomb. He snuck into he would sneak into the PD all the time and be there for meetings, dressed as a dispatcher. He
Oh my
fully infiltrated
gosh.
the PD over weeks,
Jesus.
and then he was in the motor pool and they caught him when he was putting the bomb on the car.
Ooh.
Awkward.
That should have been my kill. That should have been mine.
Awkward. You know,
That's
what
crazy.
did you just do?
I deserved
Everybody,
that one.
everybody changes though, right?
No, definitely.
No, I'm still the same. I'm worse.
Oh. Okay.
Would you still plant a bomb in a car, Fred?
Yes.
I
would
want.
too.
Okay. I know Pred very well.
Get
And
this
if
man
you
a gun license.
if you have to ask the question, would you? If the answer or if the additional context is if he could get away with it, the answer is always yes. It's
Well,
not.
yeah.
There's no thought. It doesn't matter who it's against, with very few exceptions. At the end of the day, if he could do something without being caught, he would.
I realize the answer is going to be yes, but it's still funny to just
I
put
do
it into
that now.
context.
Somebody get this man a bomb and quick.
No.
Oh, all right.
Absolutely not.
Hey, question totally unrelated. Actually, never mind.
Ask.
No,
What is it?
no, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna ask your opinion on the mayor.
Hey, the mayor's the reason why I came back. Once I heard that
Oh.
this city had a terrorist mayor, I was like, I'll blend it right in.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
fair enough.
wow. Wait,
Me
were
and him
you
get
were you
along
considered a
very
terrorist
well.
or a treasonist?
I think
Or
you
is
were
it
just a treasonist.
Or is it just like the big T, you know?
I mean, I did blow up a whole bunch of buildings and burn down a bunch of houses and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, I
I went
fucking
to
knew
war
it.
with that.
Angel, thank you for the 60
yeah, I burned
months.
down the Paleto Bay Sheriff's Office.
Oh.
I blew up the hospital. I burned down about 12 other homes. I burned down Parsons with 2 monkeys.
That's you did that Parsons fire let out several serial killers. Don't laugh at that, dickhead.
5 doctors died in that bombing of that hospital.
Hey Ziggy,
Jesus Christ, yes.
name one of those serial killers.
The butterfly killer.
I said name.
Oh, Faye.
Hey, what?
Faye Adair.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know that in my many, many years of being a police officer, I
Mhm.
only remember. Oh, actually, hold on. Wait. Let me rephrase. Ziggy,
Mm-hmm.
name one of the victims.
I have a list somewhere. It's a bit more
Nah,
tough.
off the top of your head.
One of them's name was Johnny. I forget his last name.
Okay. How is it that we're talking like 7 years ago, maybe even 8?
Time flies.
I remember. Y'all remember Timothy Flimothy? He ran VLC.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he had a pink van with like chrome wheels or something. It was something like that. Or chrome van, pink wheels. Long story short, way back when, he came into Mission Row with this girl. Her name was Asia Osa, and it was a investigation that both myself and Leone was a part of. I miss him, by the way. It's been forever since I've seen him. It was the situation where she had stated that so she was essentially a part of some like arranged marriage thing. She fled from her family, and said family found her in Los Santos. The long story short is that they were pretty much torturing her. Obviously she would, come in, report everything and whatnot. And then one day she ended up dead, found in the shipping container by the Innocents 24/7. That night, there was a huge event at the VU. There were tons of dancers around, tons of photos being taken, posted on Twitter, a million different things. To this day, we suspect we know who murdered her, but she's the only victim of any murder I've ever remembered the name of. Like, ever. In my career, she's the only one that, genuinely the only memorable one that I can think of. Which is crazy to me.
Remember when I killed one of the sheriff and I shot that woman in the wheelchair?
No, I don't.
Don't remember what I. You don't remember that?
Fred, you killed a lot of people when you were sheriff. I don't.
Yeah, I know.
Fred,
Oh.
another potential bomber wants you to call them.
Didn't you also ocean dump an EMS?
I'm not taking phone calls right now. Yeah,
Fred
I
is
get
very
Kiki
fuck
dragged.
around and
No.
shoot
Yeah, I was
out.
drunk and I saw Kiki up in Polito and I beat the shit out of her and then I
Oh,
threw her into the
no.
ocean. And then
Oh,
I beat the case
no.
for it.
And then you fucking made a book. If I did
no,
it.
No, that was another time. I made
Oh.
there was If I Did It when I went to court, and then there was fucking the green-haired witch.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be right back.
Fred, do we jumpstart plea deal stuff and just figure out where we stand, what you're looking for?
So what's the current thing that what are you currently trying to do to him, to Mr. Hart?
Baka, what is it?
I think it's like a fine of 50,000 and can't remember how many months, but we're just using the same sentence from the previous case, so it's like a ballpark figure.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah.
It's also Gatsby.
That's right.
That makes this good. Let's see. 5 years, 5 years parole, 50,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what's currently listed.
Like I said, that was just a ballpark figure of what Suarez did with his drug trafficking case. So happy to like move or whatever's reasonable.
Here, come over here. All right, so here's the
Yep.
thing. Here's how it works with Pred. We try to find a middle ground, and you're going to assume he's a normal human who's gonna like say something reasonable. He's gonna say, "No, I don't want my client to get a fine. I want the charge dropped." None of that's happening. We'll reduce the time and fine, but charges not being dropped. Or shouldn't be,
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least. But just know you're going to likely expect a reasonable person. Like, all right, let's take it from 5 down to 3 and from 50 down to 35 or something. No, he's going to be like, I don't want him to go in at all. No parole. Maybe even he'll be like, yeah, they don't go in, but 10 years parole and $5,000, like something crazy. Because
Yep.
that's Pred.
No, that ain't happened.
All right.
I'm happy if like maybe, you know, skim 10K off, so it's like a 40K fine and maybe 1 or 2 years. That's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna lowball us like that, it's we ain't playing that game. Back up
I agree.
5 years, 50K.
All right, let me call him. Pred, come over here. Let's see how accurate I am with what he requests.
Yep.
All right. So Pred, upon looking, the current sentencing recommendation is 5 years in prison, 5 years parole, and a $50,000 fine. What are you looking at regarding a plea deal?
Oh, is that the judge, or is that someone leaving? Oh,
Someone else.
Someone left.
All right. Let's break it down. You said there was a previous incident that was through. Basically, these are
Right.
ballpark for DT, right?
Well, that's what he got sentenced on. That's what the judge found was fair, and gave him that verdict.
And then what was the amount of drugs on that individual in retrospect?
I don't know the
to my
specifics.
individual. Well, it was specific. So if you know the ballpark, well, specifics are important as well. All right, because we know we now have an idea of what 5 years, 5 and 5 should be.
Let me figure out what the original one was.
Now, Jesse Hart isn't a violent man. Yeah, I mean, Jesse Hart isn't a violent man.
382.
As far as crimes
no,
committed
that's
goes,
not it.
I mean, he doesn't really have that many of them. I mean, he has a misdemeanor possession, 1 count of sale of drugs, and a felony possession charge. I mean, are we really even sure that drug trafficking can stick in this instance?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pred. In less than 24 hours, I caught him with 230 or 240 some odd baggies. And then 21 hours after that, he was found with 195 or whatever it was. And he had a prior, which then bumped it to 3 instances. And that prior was within a 2-week period.
All right. I'm going to need to talk to my client. We are going to need to sit down. I think it would be better for us to plea this out than to go to court.
I mean, works for me.
'Cause
I don't take
seems
much an
like
issue
we
with it.
fucked up on the scheduling.
It's kind of rough because most like
Oh,
the officers involved are like early AU, and then I'm assuming this is when you wake up, Kyle. So it's kind of hard.
Well, I guess I have to wake up early on my day off, which I won't be happy about.
No, the problem isn't like us. I think the problem is finding a judge to wake up early, or it's somewhere in the middle, you know.
Pred, for context, the prior one that they were found guilty of in a trial, they were found with 25 bags.
Oh, so it makes it worse.
Yeah, it's way
No,
worse.
what
Wait,
do you
was that
mean
with
it
the
was-
old
he was-
weights?
Yes,
It
it
might
was
be
with
the
the
old
old weights, but this was also under that as well.
So what's the like equivalence of the old weights? Would it be like 250 grams ish?
Yes, which
one bag is
means
10
that
grams?
the 195 was just about 2 kilos, and the 200 and something was over 2 kilos.
Oh, so it's
Um,
worse.
Yeah, it's way worse.
Oh,
Ah!
I'm sorry.
Hey, don't hit my
You're
old
about to be
undersheriff like
worse
that,
off,
you son of a
pal.
bitch.
Hey!
I'm sorry.
Hey, stop! 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 Jesus.
Okay. All right,
Oh
I was
my
about to
gosh.
he's lucky I didn't have my gun. I would have shot him in self-defense.
No! That's excessive.
Doesn't say anything about anything being too excessive. All I have to do is perceive him as a threat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so you're not a letter of a law guy when it comes to standing your ground, but you're a letter of the law guy when it comes to every fucking thing else?
No, that's not the case. That ain't the case at all, Pred.
How about we get him a parole officer? How about we give him parole, get him a PO, you know, you can monitor him, you know, check in on him, sends
Mm-hmm.
to pat downs.
Okay.
And we significantly reduce his fine for cooperation. If he violates parole, he has to pay $50K. But if he, you know, doesn't get caught selling, doesn't sell drugs, and
If he
you know, is
says
out on
5, I'm gonna fucking
parole,
lose it.
meeting with his PO, turning his life around, maybe getting a job at the goddamn Senior Buns or someplace in the food court. Who the fuck knows? Maybe then, you know, we reduce his fine by like 50%. We put him on parole for like a week.
So you're saying no time, all parole, but if they fuck up, they suffer the full consequence.
Yeah,
And
I
heavily
mean,
reduced fine.
Yeah, heavily reduced fine and then no jail time. I mean, it's not like he did anything inherently violent. He just sold drugs to children.
Yeah, Pred, give me just a second. Flacco, how accurate was I with the...
Yeah, pretty accurate.
Yeah. I pretty much
Read
said...
you like a book.
Well, he does know me better than pretty... I mean, he was my undersheriff for a very long time for a reason.
I mean, that's how you know he was a good undersheriff. The man knows you.
He was the best.
People don't realize that Pred and I are... I don't want to say polar opposites, but we are not the same. But... and I say this all the time. If you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, you are going to be surrounded by people who are just going to say yes and agree with you. And the reason we work so well is because we always challenge each other, right? Like, Pred was always over the line. Yeah, Pred was always over the line, but myself and Hall would always sort of reel him back in and return him to center. But that center was way better than either of us independently making a rash decision. Like,
Hey,
but
opposites attract, man.
it's true. It's true. Tell you what, speak with your client. I'm gonna be real. I don't see us doing all parole. Given the circumstances, like I said, 25 bags got a dude the push to DT. I mean, I believe he had priors. I'm fairly certain we'd be willing to drop from 5 and bring it down to something more reasonable, but I don't see it only being parole.
What do you think, Rhodes, if because it's 5 years, we drop it down to 3 years, 7 years parole? So we take 2 off his sentence, but add 2 years of parole.
How about we do 14 days of parole?
Man's got to go jail, man. Drug trafficking, come on.
Have you ever been to Dogtown?
Hey,
It's
man, if you're
goddamn
willing,
Guantanamo.
if you're willing to sell drugs to kids, maybe a trip's deserved.
Oh my god.
Pred, let me speak with Flacco here for just like 30 seconds.
All right, all right.
Can turn it into an episode of Scared Straight.
True. I've tried that before. It actually ended up resulting in the person joining a group. Anyways, so the Suarez case, although the recommendation was 5, 5, and 50, when they were found guilty, they were sentenced to 3, 3, and something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
So
why
if
I don't mind
if
a
the,
little bit.
So what I'm saying here is, if the judges sort of determined that fair middle ground would be, I mean, the amount was less though. So it's like one thing to take into account. I was going to say if the original is 5 and a judge ultimately decided that 3 is what's reasonable in trial, 2 is probably the safer bet. But then again, we're back at square one regarding the amount and how much that sort of, I don't necessarily want to say enhances our, like, you know, sentencing. I'm not opposed to 2 and like 5. Because I do think that there should be a decent amount of parole. But the actual sentence, or maybe even 2 and 4, and then
I got an idea.
Hit me with it.
We'll do what you said, like 2 and 4 or 2 and 5, but he's got to wear an ankle monitor the entire time so we can track him.
I like that. Do we have ankle monitors?
Fuck if I know. Sure, we can like import one from somewhere.
Fuck, I don't know.
Like y'all used to have it back in the day, right?
If that's a
Can't be
yes,
that hard.
if that's a possibility, I like that.
Sorry, officers.
What's up?
First time in courtroom. Is there anything you can eat here?
I know. Maybe vending machines, but you want to pay $200?
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, you may have to go to Senior Buns, unfortunately. Sorry, bud.
Okay.
I don't have anything with me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Are you doing anything?
Yeah, we're currently
talking about a
discussing
case.
something.
Okay, so I don't disturb you.
You're right.
All right. And then the fine should listen. These fuckers are making money off this shit, right? Like, I think the fine should be pretty big in the grand scheme of things. I don't know that I would drop it by that much.
Look,
'cause that's where it's gonna hurt the most.
I've had sources tell me 128 bags gets you about 10K
What?
cash. Yep. So you sell 128 bags or around that ballpark figure, you get about 10K cash.
$78
so
per. Oh, gotta go.
Taking that into consideration, he had what in total from yours and mine?
Oh, let's
Is that
go.
the
Let's
judge?
go.
Oh, we'll talk
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Okay, Max Richter. So what's your name?
Here. Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're back into session. Get comfy because this is going to be a lengthy one.
Okay.
Gonna start off by saying that for better or for worse, y'all got the judge who wrote the parking legislation 5.5 years ago. That means I was responsible for parsing the nuances and the nuisances of parking laws in the state. And the fact that this trial became a debate on letter versus spirit of the law for parking probably means that I'm the one that was best suited to make the ruling on this, given that history. Mr.
Dun dun
Rhodes,
dun.
Officer Rhodes, sorry.
You're good.
You repeatedly stated that you're an officer of the letter of the law, that as an atheist, you don't believe in the spirit of the law. I hate to break it to you, but every time you exercise police discretion, you are manifesting the spirit of the law. Every shade of gray is the spirit of the law. I understand and respect your want to defer to a court of law to parse the more contentious matters of spirit that might be evoked in certain cases. However, to make an argument that the spirit of the law is outside your realm of enforcement is just patently wrong. Now, there were a lot
What
of
did you
matters
just
that
do?
were brought up that became an argument of spirit versus letter. So let's run down the list. We'll start with the flimsy no parking sign. No, this is not a state-sponsored sign. It is not a sign that is enforceable for the police to charge for a parking violation. However, it is a sign that should be taken in good faith and with due respect, meaning that if you see a no parking sign, such as the one that was pictured on the curb at Mosley's, that you should make the good faith effort and show the due respect to not park where that sign is. Just as anyone who would tow those vehicles should make a good faith effort and show the due respect to try and get the operator of that vehicle to voluntarily move that vehicle before any towing attempt is made.
Dun dun dun.
That being said, while I do believe that cars parked in contrivance of these signs may be subject to tow, that does not mean that I agree with their impounding. The impound of cars parked in contrivance of these signs is a completely different question and a completely different matter. Do not mistake my endorsement of a no parking sign being respected to be an endorsement of impounding vehicles in contrivance of these signs. Now we're going to move on to the fun one, the
Oh.
government vehicle parking exemptions. The fact that the mayor wants to claim his personal vehicle is a government vehicle for the purpose of parking exemptions is more a testament to his character than it is to the scope or the letter of the law. This matter has been discussed ad nauseum by the judges as a whole, each time clarified by the Chief Justice himself. The government vehicle parking exemptions were designed for first responders and emergency vehicles responding to emergencies. Sirens are audible, lights are visual. The only lights an emergency vehicle has that differentiate them from a non emergency response or civilian vehicle are the emergency flashing lights. Therefore, for a government vehicle to fall within the government vehicle parking exemption, it must be an emergency vehicle with emergency lights on responding to an active emergency.
We're
And with
still
that
gonna
said, let me make this very clear.
park the way we
Abuse
do.
of the letter of the law to prove a point eventually erodes the good faith assumption police rely on to do their jobs. However, in this instance, I concede that it
We
was
need the
a
clarification.
necessary evil to bring clarity to the
Yes.
limitations and the expectations of the state's current parking laws. Now, just to keep you in a bit of further suspense, I do want to touch on what Moose Knuckles brought up because I do not want it on court record and I want it clarified.
Yeah.
The 113 grams of marijuana, the supposed loophole. Just because 113 grams of marijuana is on the line, that makes it about as legal as a barcode not scanning at a store makes that item free. 113 grams allows for discretion in charging an individual. It means that an officer can show discretion, leniency, or clemency in choosing to charge misdemeanor instead of felony, or further punishment by choosing to charge felony instead of misdemeanor. It is a discretionary line, it is not a loophole. Now, for the matter at hand
Dun,
and
dun, dun.
Mr. Stokes' appeal of charges. First charge of joyriding, while I can see Officer Rhodes' logic, I do believe that Mr. Stokes was operating in good faith in this matter and will be finding him not guilty. That charge will be overturned.
Damn.
In disobeying a peace officer, let me explain. Any lawful order given that is not inherently illegal or requesting violence acted upon another individual does not give you the freedom to just not listen. Just because it is not correct doesn't mean it is not at that time enforceable. Should you come across this, you should still be complying with the lawful order, no matter how wrong, and bring the issue to a civil case, in this case for deprivation of executing the duties of a job, as well as making a civilian oversight board complaint. However, in this situation, given the statements of Miss Lockhart and Mr. Payne, as well as testimonies, I do believe that Mr. Stokes operating in good faith to try and clear that no parking zone was not an inherent disobeying of the lawful order, as it was a confusing situation and a complete mess in the execution of the law due to lack of clarity. While this could go either way, given the situation on whole, I am going to be finding him not guilty and overturning that charge.
Damn.
Resisting arrest, I do not believe that it was articulated in any substantial way that his actions prior to being arrested were anything more than a response to being tackled. It was testified that he did not attempt to run nor break cuffs. So again, given the complication of the situation at large, that will be overturned.
Damn.
And for the parking violation of a commercial vehicle, a vehicle that is in the process of completing its duties is not parked, it is in operation, even if it is not moving. While given your interpretations of the law at the time, Officer Rhodes, it was completely reasonable to move forward with. Given the other rulings of this court, it no longer is acceptable in the grand scheme and will also be overturned. Therefore, all
Shucks.
charges will be overturned.
Damn.
The fine will be refunded. And Mr. Stokes, please tell me if you have any other charges on your record.
There's a
Other
felony
tra-
obstruction charge as well.
Yeah, felony obstruction, justice.
No,
Other charges from
I
prior.
did
but
skip over that one in my list. Yes, that was just a straight up not guilty. There's no explanation needed on that one.
Shucks.
Okay. Given that you have a litany of other
Please
charges,
tell me
Officer
it will be
Rhodes, you will have
clarified.
to go into the report and remove the charges physically.
Okay.
I will not be
Give
able
me
to do that.
1 second.
However, Mr. Stokes, if you provide me with your bank account number, I will take care of the refund of your fine. It is a ruling of this court and the case is adjourned.
So, Your Honor, does
This
that
is
mean,
a victory for tow people everywhere.
Your Honor,
God
does this
bless
mean
you, Mr. Stokes.
there will be further clarity
you know what?
in the
God
penal
bless the tow
code?
union.
God bless the tow
I
union.
will be bringing it up with the
Yes!
Chief Justice. However, his argument of you should know better is probably going to come up a few times.
What?
You know how grumpy he is.
What? Hold on 1 second.
Your Honor, regarding the marijuana possession, I actually just brought it up to prove the point. I
I know.
understand what you were saying. And
I know,
I did
but
point
that's
it out
also
too.
just happened
Hold
to be
on.
the 5th time this week I've had to deal with it.
Oh, that's probably because of me, because I've been telling people jokingly. But I did notify Chief Justice and head of bar Murphy so that they could, if they felt necessary, they could make any adjustments to make sure it was nobody misinterpreted.
Yep, that's perfect. All right, Mr. Stokes, come up here.
5/19/20. Oh, that's the incorrect format.
Yes, so if you go into your information app on your
I hate this format.
I believe it's a
2024-04-05, I think.
Yep.
All right, it's 614-781-68.
Okay, so to read that back, 614-781-68.
Yep.
All right.
Save
I will
this
be
and
refunding that presently.
make sure it is not on the profile. Stokes. All right. All right, we should be good. The charges have been removed, and the report has been updated to indicate the verdict of the appeal.
Perfect. And Mr. Stokes, you have been refunded the $2,570.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here we are.
And thank you, Officer Rhodes.
No problem.
All right, I'm out of here. I got work to do.
Good luck.
Bye, Your
Have
Honor. Bye,
fun.
Rhodes.
Hey, thanks, Brett.
Bye, guys.
I do
You
understand
think Crane
entirely
is?
what you did, but
I mean, listen,
I feel bad for the guy. Look at him. He has one hand. Did he have to be the one? Look at him.
Sort of, kinda. Sort of, kinda.
I gotta go to sleep. Good night, everybody.
I mean,
Bye.
listen, here's the
Appreciate
reality.
it.
Thank you, Moose Knuckle.
People don't ever appeal shit. There's
Good night,
never going to be
everybody. I'm going
change
to
until
sleep.
they do.
Yeah.
It's about time someone finally took it to court.
Yeah, I've been telling them that for a few months now. I
Um,
didn't spend weeks making that parking legislation to just not use that learning experience to deal with this shit.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. Totally understandable. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you know exactly what my intent was. You even called it out in your ruling.
Yep.
Hopefully, Crane doesn't just shut it down as a,
No, I
you
think
know,
because
just
this
a angry
actually
man
came
grunt.
to, yeah, I think because this one actually came to court and wasn't just us saying, hey, city council is trying to abuse government vehicles. Are we allowing this? He might actually do something about it. Or he might just make me do something about it again. In which case,
The
I am so
only
glad I still have saved files from 5 years ago.
the only further, I mean, there's two things. Number one, you know, obviously the addition of you know, emergency lights and or sirens, right? But the other thing is clarification as to who falls under government within it, because if
Yeah.
you look at attempted murder, for example, of a government employee, it outlines exactly who qualifies. The
Yeah.
only downside to unauthorized parking is it's already very lengthy to cover a
That's
bunch of things.
exactly why, and that's why Crane had made me write parking legislation before becoming an appointed judge after my final election, because he couldn't just keep amending and adding to the charge.
Yep.
People have goldfish attention spans, so there needed to be the addendum of legislation. That might be what happens again,
I was gonna
or it
say
might just be a very simple change to first responder instead of government vehicle.
I was going to say, if any further clarity, because straight up, if you were to have to identify and add who falls under, you know, government vehicles, and obviously mentioning first responders, it's going to be way too lengthy. I would probably recommend a reduction in how it's worded, in it reference in violation of parking legislation, and then there actually being something under legislation regarding parking, because then you have the proper formatting of like adding however much you want, with there being no like, because listen, you pull that thing up right now and half of that shit don't even come up. You have to start scrolling on your MDT.
Yep.
But I'm glad it's finally been brought up. There a reason I ain't object to a single, well, I mean, I did with Pred specifically because it was Pred.
Because
but,
it's Pred. Yeah.
But I was not objecting to any of what was put on the docket. I don't care about any of their statements. Don't care about literally any of it. Because the information truthfully here ended up being irrelevant, because the issue at hand was the parking, and to ensure hopefully clarity moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably not going to have time to write out the whole thing for the docket before my appointment, but it will be
I'm
written
not
out
I'm not worried.
in full so that anyone who wants to argue it, you can at least say that it has been decided in court and point them to it. Not just me saying something, but something written for posterity until
Perfect.
such time as the council passes.
I don't see this
legislation to
this
verify
coming
it.
up again anytime soon. I
Yeah, you never know.
don't know. I might go park my car with some
I
lights
mean,
on.
there has historically just been waves of PD pettiness with parking and civilian pettiness with parking that's
Yep.
cyclical. So
Mm-hmm. Not wrong.
it's
Not wrong,
probably
but-
going to happen again. It's just a question of if anything can be changed before it has a chance to flare up again.
Yep. Well, Gatsby, I appreciate your time.
Of course. Always happy to be here and do this.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you as well.
All right. Flacco, I'll talk to you real quick, and then you can 42. I appreciate you taking the time. All right. We'll just walk out super quick. All right. TLDR, I'm not opposed to like a 2, 4, maybe like $40,000 fine for a plea deal. Because I think if what you're saying is true, that number is crazy.
They're pretty confident about it. It probably fluctuates with, I don't know, their customers. Maybe people like some people's stuff better. But that's what I was told. Take it with a grain of salt, sort of thing.
I mean, just on 2 of the instances, I forget how much they had in the first one. It was like 440 bags for the 2 that I was part of, right? At 70s, like that's 30 some odd grand alone in 2 instances within
exactly.
21 hours of each other.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was my mindset. If they're, I don't know,
Hit him where it hurts, which is obviously going to be the money aspect.
Yeah, if they do take, I don't know, fucking 100 grand, 10K for whatever, 100 bags or whatever, I feel like 10K fine per 100 sort of thing would fit. If they got 300, 30K plus fine would sit right with me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially considering the weight of those, baggies being sold at the time being considerably higher.
Exactly.
All right. Well, so I will be back on duty full time midweek. Until then, I'm still going to be kind of MIA. So, do you have Pred's number?
I don't.
All right, let me give that to you.
Okay.
He may actually be in the lemon list. He is.
Oh, if he is, then I'll just save it.
Yep. Go ahead and copy it from there. He will actually, if you wouldn't mind, texting him, letting him know that you're part of the situation. If he speaks with his client, even letting him know that the offer on the table is 2, 4, and like 40,000, or again whatever you'd like to go with. And if he's okay with that, obviously the suspect is okay with that, then we will end up pushing through with that. And then if either Frost is around, or if I'm around, do you have my number?
I'll find on MDT. Sure it's in
Right there.
Oh, give me a card. Thank you.
Yep. Send me a text with an update. And then hopefully we get it all resolved. Hopefully soon-ish. That way it's not sort of just lingering around, because I know it's been a little while. Through no fault of anyone, truthfully, but
It's just one of those things.
yeah, scheduling is definitely going to be an issue on that one. That's for sure.
Year.
All right. Well, I am going to get out of here. You have any questions for me?
Too. No, not really. Oh, who'd you vote for?
I didn't.
Oh, fair enough.
You talk about for sheriff?
Yeah.
Is voting still open?
It should be.
I'll tell you who I'm going to vote for.
Sure.
Okay, this might sound fucked up. I think Bones might be better fit, but I think Cornwood has the experience and sort of level of tact required to be in said position. And I know this because I've seen how he has been during high command meetings in the past. And you need someone who isn't going to sort of just lay on their back, He's very outspoken. it speaks his mind, and doesn't hold back. And that's absolutely what we need. I love Bones, and I think he'd do a phenomenal job. But for me, the unknown with how he would deal with that is scarier than maybe a slightly less competent but experienced person, if that makes sense.
No, I see where you're coming from, and I agree on some points. But at the same time, it's the whole thing of the
If he ever
PD
gets the
was built
chance.
up. No, the PD
Oh.
was built up brand new from the ground up with new people on purpose, right?
Uh-huh.
They didn't want to hire a lot of the old cops that I used to know back in, like, from Harmony fixing their cars because they wanted new people. So are we falling back, or not we, is the PD falling back into that, I shouldn't say old habits, but the old ways of, we need to bring back the old heads sort of thing to bring some stability, or are we still looking to, bring a new department with new leadership just to try something new, give people opportunities?
I mean, look at how many units we have on duty. You let me know if something needs to change.
I don't think opening PBSO or sheriff's department is going to fix that necessarily. I think the
I
core
agree. I 100% agree with you. But if it's happening anyways, I would rather it happen
course.
under the command of somebody who has prior high command experience.
Yep.
That again, for me, I'm not kidding. Okay, just like the mayor. Okay, I don't like Max. I don't. If he showed up dead tomorrow, good riddance. Okay, but I also now know what to expect of him, right?
Yeah.
And so when the election came up, second time around, I voted for him. Despite all the shit he's done that I absolutely hate, I would rather go into something knowing what I know about said person and how things are going to go versus the complete unknown of the reins being taken by somebody else who I've never met before.
Yeah.
As fucked up as
That's a
it
fair point.
sounds, and sort of subjecting myself to maybe a not so good experience, especially given everything he's done to the police department and EMS and doctors and stuff. But again, if I at least know stuff like that is going to happen, I can't be surprised. Whereas you're sort of learning something completely different and new when you're dealing with someone running against him. So
I
yeah.
understand what you're saying. I can't blame you for it. It's just like that argument of, do we want it new, or do we want it sort of run how it used to be back in the day? Which I don't know too much about. I was just a mechanic. But I can see some people like, why would you just not hire Snow back? Why not hire DuPont back? Why not hire Jenny Hall back? That sort of thing.
Trust me,
why
I
just
have all of those same questions. Literally all of those
Yeah.
same questions. Except Hall. She
I'm
didn't want
just
to be
like
an officer, but the others.
I'm just thinking out loud sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want old people in high command, but then deny, old good cops the opportunity just to be a regular officer sort of thing?
Yeah. No, I
Which is
definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, it's not anyone's fault. It's just like food for thought sort of thing, thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
You
I appreciate you.
Of course, Rhodes, anytime.
Have a
Almost
good
done
one.
with my PPO stuff.
You want me to
So
be
close.
real?
Yeah.
It's a crime that you're not a full
What's a
officer
crime?
right now. Which way do we go? This
I
way.
have no idea. I have
This way
zero
and to the left.
experience, Rhodes.
And despite that, you immediately took on a drug trafficking case.
Well,
Yeah.
I was a bad person a long time ago, so
Well, so you have to remember this, right? Being a PPO does not mean we expect you to know absolutely everything, right? But
Yeah, I
in
know.
saying that, let me just do this real quick. One moment.
Yeah, of course. You park at the back, by the way?
I actually parked my car on the corner of
Oh,
Roy
you
Low and
parked the car.
Innocence. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What was I saying?
Criminal being a PPO, despite I was a bad person.
So in my experience seeing you out there, and it's only been a handful of times, you almost have never needed direction on what to do. You immediately, for the most part, knew best course of action regarding anything I've seen you respond to. So even though you may not have a whole ton of experience, it shows us and tells us that your mental is in the right spot, if that makes sense. For example, some people have a great understanding of how things are written, you know, regarding law-related stuff, and even without knowing
Street smart dog.
exactly. But you have not only that, you have like whatever the police department equivalent of book smarts would be, with not much experience behind that. You know what I mean? Like, if you
I learned a lot in jail.
in your current position, where I believe you are, the reality here is you are pretty much at where we expect people to be at full officer. And truthfully, those standards have dropped over time because we don't have the bandwidth to train people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. But we would be in such a good spot if every cadet were at your level.
I appreciate that, Rhodes.
It's well deserved. Well deserved. You give yourself a pat on the back. But
Yep.
I am getting out of here, so you have a good one.
Yeah. Catch you later.
Bye. Doop, 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 doop. All max. Hmm. Okay. Game crash. What is that timing? We leave and immediately crash? Gonna take a second because it's gonna do a full thing. There we are. My car. It is personally owned, so we can at least track it. Are we getting roads back more for midweek? Yes. A lot of what I've had to do recently has been, so I've already told you all, a family member had their car totaled, and I've pretty much been the one car shopping for them. But also want to make sure that, like, hold on, what they're getting is what they actually want. So a lot of you know, calling up dealerships, and every dealership works the fucking same. It's actually crazy. Like, their whole goal is to get you to step foot and buy the car same day. No, they're good. They're good. We'll still get a good amount of Ryan moving forward. Likely the case, yeah. Are they a decent salesperson? It depends. There is a fucking scumbag at one of the dealerships. while in like the test driving phase to figure out which car they wanted, we walk into a dealer solely for the purpose of test driving, literally only test driving, nothing else. You know, to compare it to other vehicles. This dude was like, so